Is TB-500 as good as BPC-157, oxandrolone, growth hormone, or even GHK copper when it comes to the healing of soft tissue injuries? Well, honestly, I don't know, because there's only 5 studies performed on TB-500, and all of the touted healing benefits are actually stemming from Thymosin Beta-4. Basically, TB-500 is all hype with little scientific evidence to back it up. Or is it? Vigorous Steve here. Remember that 40-minute deep dive on BPC-157, reviewing 180 animal models and one single study performed on human subjects? Unfortunately, you won't find a similar deep dive on TB-500 here, buddy. This video is going to be short and sweet because there isn't much to deep dive into. TB-500 is a partial sequence of Thymosin Beta-4. It is the actin binding region of the parent peptide. Thymosin Beta-4 has over 1,000 studies available for us to review. Semax, a partial sequence of adrenocorticotropic hormone, has over 200 studies which we can review. Selank, a synthetic analog of the immunomodulatory peptide Thymosin, has over 100 studies to review. Man, even anti-obesity drug 9604 and HGH fragment 176-191, which are partial sequences of growth hormone set to induce lipolysis, have about 20 studies for us to review. TB-500 has 5. 5, bro. I mean, there's more studies on TB-500 regarding metabolite detection than actual real studies we can pull safety and efficacy data from. While Semax, Selank, anti-obesity drug, and HGH frag certainly work, their effects aren't exactly identical as their parent peptide hormone. I mean, even stereoisomers can have vastly different effects. For example, yohimbine differs in its effects from ribosine slightly. And enclomiphene has vastly different effects from zuclomiphene, even though both are found in clomiphene citrate. Apparently, it's the enclomiphene that's the efficacious stereoisomer within this medication, and this is why a lot of people in the medical community are making the switch from clomiphene to enclomiphene solo. Keep this in mind when you read into the benefits of TB-500. All of it, literally all of it, is stemming from Thymosin Beta-4. Clinical trials on TB-500? There are none. There are plenty of clinical trials on Thymosin Beta-4 and Thymosin Alpha-1. There's over 50 in total, but nothing on TB-500. Medical inserts? There are none, as TB-500, Thymosin Beta-4, or Thymosin Alpha-1 are not FDA approved anywhere on the world. Now, that doesn't mean that these are not going to pass clinical trials at one point or another, but as of now, Thymosin Beta-4 or Alpha-1 are not available as a medication, and I doubt that TB-500 will ever undergo clinical trials because it's a partial sequence. And now under Article 503A and B, US-based compounding pharmacies are limited in their prescription of TB-500 as safety and efficacy data is lacking, which is very true. Again, there's only 5 studies which we can review in this video. So you see here that they specifically mention that Thymosin Beta-4 fragment LKK TATQ, better known as TB-500, but Thymosin Beta-4 is still prescribable, and that's probably because Thymosin Beta-4 itself is currently under development by Regine RX Biopharmaceuticals as a novel treatment for dry eye disease and neurotropic keratitis. It's currently under the code name RGN-259, and the potential brand name will be Beta-Sin. Okay, so what do we have to work with then? Let's have a look at the evidence-based unique characteristics of TB-500. TB-500, also known as N-acetylated LKK-TATQ, is the partial sequence of Thymosin Beta-4, the actin binding domain amino acid sequence 17 to 23. It has similar efficacy regarding wound repair and healing compared to Thymosin Beta-4 and Thymosin Beta-10, which are stemming from in vitro and animal models. So that means that TB-500 promotes angiogenesis and hair growth. It increases keratinocyte migration, collagen deposition, wound contracture, and cell migration. And this is all mediated by purinergic receptors. TB-500 also has antifibrotic effects inhibiting human hematopoietic stem cell activation, proliferation, and migration. So basically, to translate that into layman's terms, TB-500 prevents scar tissue buildup while wounds are healing. In the animal models, the researchers used a 0.01% to 0.05% TB-500 topical formula and applied this to the wounded area for 10 consecutive days, after which wounds healed significantly faster compared to the control groups, which was comparable to a similar setup for Thymosin Beta-4. And in the human cells in vitro study, the researchers used a TB-500 concentration of 10 nanograms per milliliter, which is such a low concentration that it's not even worth mentioning as a percentage. And that's all there is. How is that for consolidation? And that brings us to the evidence-based detection times already. The half-life of TB-500 is said to be anywhere between 24 to 36 hours, but I can't find this in the scientific evidence anywhere. The half-life of Thymosin Beta-4 is between 1.8 to 2.1 hours. But I believe that's based on serum metabolism, not following subcutaneous, intramuscular, or intraarticular administration. We do know that N-terminal acetylation helps prolong the half-life of peptides. So it might be reasonable, again, based on other N-terminal acetylated peptides, that the half-life of TB-500 is indeed 24 to 36 hours. Unfortunately, the detection times have not been established in human subjects, but I was able to find 3 animal studies. We have this study performed on geldings, which are castrated male horses. They received a single administration subcutaneously of 10 milligrams TB-500, after which the metabolites were detectable between 9.7 to 11 hours. And following a single administration to Sprague Dolly rats of 20 milligrams per 1 kilogram of body weight Thymosin Beta-4 by intraperitoneal injection, that's the area that holds the abdominal organs, the metabolites of TB-500 were detectable in urine, again of rats, for up to 48 hours. Now, based on the average weight of Sprague Dolly rats being around 300 grams, that will be 6 milligrams TB-500 administered by intraperitoneal injections. And if you were to calculate that to the human equivalent dose using dose-cal, that would be 3.24 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, or 324 milligrams for a 100 kilogram human being. So the detection time is reasonably short at very high dosages, which is very promising. But there's one study which was published recently. Unfortunately, I can't find the full publication. They administered an unknown dose of TB-500 to rats with subcutaneous administration, and the metabolites were detectable in urine for up to 72 hours. So this is all we have to work with, and there's no known reported detection time for TB-500 by subcutaneous, intramuscular, or intraarticular administration. And even though the half-life of these peptides is reasonably short and the detection time is maybe 3 days at maximum, you might be able to get away with a 1-week clearance. So the last administration of TB-500 or Thymosin Beta-4 can be 1 week before the competition or the expected drug test, but I would still wait 1 month to play it safe, similarly to other peptides which are detectable for longer periods of time following multiple administrations subcutaneously, intramuscularly, or intra-articularly. And I found something very interesting in the scientific evidence. This study performed by Kwok et al., published on March 2013, titled Doping Control Analysis of 7 Bioactive Peptides in Horse Plasma by Liquid Chromatography Mass Spectrometry. And it appears that TB-500 is rapidly metabolized by exopeptidases or dipeptidyl peptidase type 4 enzymes. When TB-500 is added to equine plasma, horse blood, the parent hormone isn't detectable after 3 hours of incubation. So don't take your Januvia or Tradjenta if you want to pass the drug test while using TB-500, because now you're prolonging the metabolism and it might be detectable longer than 72 hours. But if you're undergoing a healing protocol, then maybe taking dipeptidyl peptidase type 4 enzyme inhibitors is a good idea, so you have a prolonged and pronounced effect for the same amount of micrograms or milligrams of TB-500 that you're taking. So that already brings us to the cookie cutter healing protocol for TB-500. For soft tissue injuries, I would recommend between 500 micrograms up to 1 milligram TB-500 subcutaneous, intramuscular, or intraarticular once or twice per day. So that's a total dose of 500 micrograms up to 2000 micrograms daily, and consider combining that with a dipeptidyl peptidase type 4 enzyme inhibitor, or BPC-157, growth hormone or growth hormone secretagogue, GHK copper, collagen peptides, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, silica. For an entire supplement protocol, I'll just put it on the screen so you get adequate building blocks in for optimal collagen synthesis. Consider watching these 3 tendon healing protocol videos, which I made a couple years ago. They're still valid to this day. A boatload of information, all free. And now we have dedicated deep dives for BPC-157 and TB-500, albeit that this video is very, very thin simply because the scientific evidence is lacking. If you want to know more information on how to heal various tendon, ligament, and connective tissue injuries, then give those tendon healing videos a watch. I'll link them down below as well. Now, since the scientific evidence on TB-500 is very, very thin, I think if you guys want to see it, I should do a follow-up deep dive for Thymosin Beta-4. Obviously. I mean, if all of the touted health and healing benefits are coming from Thymosin Beta-4, why not do a deep dive on this peptide alone and see how much of additional benefits we could get besides the benefits associated with TB-500, right? Let me know down below if you would like to see it. So let's leave it here. You can do your blood work over at Merck Health if you live in the United States. They have excellent healthcare providers who can help you interpret your blood work results and make sure you stay healthy. If you were to follow a tendon, connective tissue, and ligament injury healing protocol like I just highlighted, if you are looking for the best collagen protein on the market with vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, and most of the collagen types, then look no further than Gorilla Mind. I'll link it down below. Very tasty, and all of the collagens at the correct ratios are there. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with and the citations down below in the YouTube description section. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. Vigorous crew, you guys know what to do. A front double blast for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.